Hello and welcome to another This Week in Transition broadcast. So happy to welcome you guys into the Zen Den, our sacred space here at the campus here in Sevierville. Just felt like the fitting space to host today's broadcast, being about purpose with persistence, and this space being where we remind, refresh, reactivate, and give ourselves the fuel and the momentum to continue pursuing our purpose each and every day. So beautifully blessed with Ezra's solar battery here. Amazing to have our energy from the sun, these awesome renewable, sustainable resources that provide us the ability to do what we do without causing as much or any harm to our natural environment and the world around us. So really blessed to have that power here today so that we can be mobile and share this broadcast in the Zen Den today. So sharing a little bit about purpose with persistence. Wanted to ask, how many of you have heard of a new Earth? Either the concept, or maybe you've seen the words New Earth somewhere, or maybe somebody's been talking about it, or maybe you speak Spanish and you're reading my shirt and you see New Mundo. How many of you have heard about a new Earth? So in my lifetime, when I was a young kid, I grew up in the church, and I remember reading in Genesis a little bit about what our purpose, the purpose for creation was. And that was to inhabit the earth in harmony with all living beings, and to hold stewardship over life, and to be responsible stewards, respectful and responsible stewards of creation. And that really held a lot of merit. That really held a lot of merit for me throughout my life of why we as a species, why we as humanity were placed here. And then, on this New Earth concept, I remember hearing New Earth mentioned in the book of Revelation, and these prophecies of all these epic things yet to come for us to experience, and that would happen in the future. And that was always very fascinating to me. Again, that was where I first heard the words New Earth. And at that time, I didn't really understand it. It was just part of this big thing going on. And interestingly enough, as I grew older, I began to see in my life different signs, different affirmations, different symbols, different projects and organizations that were affirming this concept, affirming these prophecies, affirming these ideas of a new paradigm, of a new earth, of a new way of life being manifest, being created, co-created on this planet. And so just really coming into this examination over the last several years of, well, if our purpose is to be stewards of the earth, and now, we're seeing all these aspects of these prophecies, or of these, even the challenges that we're experiencing in our world today. Many of us are seeing these challenges as a sign of a new earth coming, of a new way of things on the rise. And so really, just throughout my life, examining and seeing how can I, Kenan Aldana, here, this one human being, how can I, what is my role in all of these things going on? What is my purpose? Much of my life I sought fulfillment. I sought meaning for my life, and at the cost of a lot of obstacles and a lot of challenges that I presented myself with, because I wasn't satisfied. I would never be satisfied with anything I was doing with my life until I felt that I was genuinely making a difference, that I was genuinely serving others, that I was genuinely providing a benefit to the people that I saw, the people I was around, and the world that I existed in. But I knew that was my purpose. I hadn't quite found that purpose yet, but I knew that I had a purpose, and that I had to find that purpose. Otherwise, this life would be meaningless. This life would be pointless to me. And so back in 2012, when all of us thought that the world was going to end, many of us got frantic and thinking of, what the heck, what's going on? These other prophecies, these Mayan prophecies telling us that the world is going to end. It's the end of our time. What does that mean? What does that mean for us? What does that mean moving forward? And I know that myself, I was kind of like in a place at the time, okay, wow, this is it. This is some of the stuff I've heard about. This is some of the stuff I've read about. It's happening right now. And then I remember in 2013, I mentioned in a broadcast several months back a little bit of the GermiNation story. We were sitting at an event discussing, well, we're in 2013. What do we do now? What do we do moving forward in this purpose? What do we do as a community? What do we do as a body of believers in something more than ourselves, of being able to offer something, co-create something beautiful, co-create something meaningful, sustainable, lasting, fulfilling? Where do we go from here? Now that we're given the opportunity to go forward, not that the world didn't end. We're here and we have all this capacity. So where do we go from here? And that was really where a lot of these passions and a lot of these ideas and a lot of these concepts and things that I had thought about in the past, heard about in the past, is when a lot of that kind of locked into place for me and came into my purpose, my identified purpose as serving a role in something so much bigger than I could ever dream of. And that is that co-creating the new earth, co-creating the new mundo, co-creating the world that we were always meant to live in, the world that was created, the world that became for us to responsibly steward. And so it's been an amazing journey since plugging into that purpose to really see how just the universe and God has blessed me and blessed the other projects and the other people working toward this goal, this common goal, working toward this purpose. Just seeing how we're being blessed, how we're being accelerated, how we're being amplified and really moved through this movement, through this transition, this exciting time that we have the opportunity to navigate. And just really, really awesome and encouraging to see that. And it's not to say that that's been easy, the way of things, the system of things currently is not the majority. The majority is not of regeneration and sustainability and self-growth and motivation and all these things. Right now, we very much exist in a society, in a system that is, on a fast track to degeneration and, resource consumption and overconsumption and, people in depression and having all sorts of challenges right now. And so taking a stand, taking the steps forward to really move, to create something new, to create something functional, to create something regenerative and life-giving. It is a task. It is a mountain to climb, if you will. And so, it hasn't been easy to decide, I'm just going to dedicate my life to this. And I know that it's not making the most money I can so that I can drive a fancy car and live in a nice house. It's not, be famous so that everybody loves me and so that everybody wants my autograph and so that everybody knows my music or this and that or hangs my art on their walls. That isn't my purpose. Those might be passions. Those might be abilities. Those might be interests. But none of those even compare to the purpose that I believe I've discovered for my life, and that is to be a guide, an usher, a beacon of light to others, to guide them through this transition that we're going through on this planet in this lifetime, and that we have a limited time scientifically to do. We're in a time right now where we've reached the point of things have to change. It's inevitable that things will change in one way or another, because we have a limited time for our species to continue doing the things that it has if we want to remain on this planet. And for some that's a really scary thought. For some that's a terrifying thought, and for others it's a call to action. It's an opportunity. It's a blessing. It's the mountain. It's the great accomplishment. It's the meaning of life. It's our purpose. And to be able to see in visions that I've received a world that resembles the original intention, the peace, the harmony with life, the responsible stewardship, the love for our neighbor, the love for one another, our ability to regenerate, our ability to live longer than even the longest person alive today. To do these amazing things, to live a life in magic, to live a life where we see miracles, where we see just beautiful things manifesting from our ability to come together and to just channel life, to channel love, and source energy through us, is a real thing. Is a thing that, since dedicating myself to this purpose, dedicating myself to connecting the dots, to connecting people to opportunities, to projects, to places, to all these things, to move this momentum forward, to move this movement forward, and see more of that happening, I'm seeing miracles and seeing affirmations and encouragements all over the world of people being activated and getting on board with the exciting things that are happening, and really being able to also see in my personal life the encouragement that comes as a result of dedicating oneself to such a purpose. Being able to see people that, after not communicating for years, have come back and said, wow, what an inspiration you are, what an inspiration these actions that you've taken have been, what an encouragement, what a support to me these things has been. It's just such a beautiful feeling to have. So that's the fulfillment, that's the fulfillment, the feeling of fulfillment that comes, that real joy, that love, that life energy that fuels the momentum that we're talking about, is to see the impact that these decisions, to see the impact that our actions, that our words, that our energy, that our sharing can have. And it's just so beautiful to see, people sharing those things, to see the result of, taking an initiative to have people coming together, and to see the fractals of just life, of organic life happening from these collaborations and from these conversations, and just bringing the space together, and bringing people to projects and connecting things, and just seeing what the impact in those lives, and also in the greater purpose, to see how we are moving and achieving this awesome purpose. And so won't take too long with today's broadcast, but felt really moved to just share how exciting it is to find one's purpose, how much more meaning we can have in our lives when we really dedicate ourselves to finding that purpose, to finding that fulfillment, beyond any of our individual goals and objectives, more finding how our passions, our skills, our capacity, our gifts align with a role that we play and a purpose much larger than ourselves. So thank you all for tuning in. I invite you to check out our website, transitiontribe.com, see a little bit about what GermiNation is doing in the regenerative movement, the sustainable movement, and our investment into creating a new Earth. Love you all and blessings. We'll see you next week.